Yes, Red Zone TV kwoli webali kubanga kyatugoberera yonna gy'osinzira okubanga gy'otulabira kyokola kya mutawaana nnyo nyongera okwebaza webali kubanga oyimirira n'omukutu guno ogwa Red Zone TV gw'omupya atanaba kubanga osubscribinga nyongera okujjukiza kirira wansi awo olaba ekigambo subscribe kikwateko osubscribinge ku channel eno okwata kadika notification obeere nga tomissinga nsonga yonna olunaku lwajjo ngenda kuwa ebigambo bya Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi lead of the opposition ku kadi y'ekibiina ekya National Unity Platform mu Parliament eye-11 jjukira ebbanga lino lyonna ssente ezibadde zisaasaanyizibwa ez'omwewo w'omusolo obadde obimanyi bulungi nnyo ebibadde bigenda mu maaso bw'obanga obadde ogoberera emikutu gyaffe oteekwa kubanga obadde obimanyi byonna sente zatandikira eri mu mwaka gwa 2022 sente Mathias Mpuuga ne ba commissioners ba Parliament abalala ze beegabira mu meeting gye baatuulamu no akubiriza Parliament Anita ne ba commissioners ba NRM abasatu embeera eyo njagala kubanga njikuwaako Joel Ssenyonyi ku lwajjo yakyaziddwa ku mukutu ogwa NTV Uganda bachazza Joel Ssenyonyi lead of opposition naye nga bamukyaziza ku program eri gy'omanje bayita on the spot era yabadde amukyazizza bamuyita Patrick Kamara n'amubuuza ebimu ku bibuuzo ku nsonga za Mathias Mpuuga n'ebibuuzo ebirala ebyekuusa ku ssente ez'omwewo w'omusolo ezisaasaanyizibwa mu Parliament n'annyonnyola bulungi nnyo era engeri gye yannyonnyoddemu yendeetedde okugamba nti kankuleetere eggulire lino wabula nga sinaba kubanga nkuleetera ebigambo bya Joel Ssenyonyi bye yayogedde bwe yabadde ku programu eyo ku NTV anzikiriza ankujjukize nti olunaku olwaleero Parliament egenda kubanga etuula egenda kubanga eddamu okutuula ekibadde tekitera kubeera okubanga Parliament etera kutuula lunaku lwakutaano naye olwa pressure eri ku social media olwa pressure eri mu bannayuganda njagala okutegeeza nti Parliament baagiyise bukubirire era olunaku olwaleero mu ssaawa ezitali nnyingi okuva kati ogenda kubanga ogiraba ng'etudde byonna byonna ebigenda okubanga byogerebwako tugenda bikuwaano ku mikutu gyaffe Red Zone TV kwoli so kati gwatanaba kubanga osubscribinga nyongera okujjukiza nti kikole kirira wansi awo olaba ekigambo subscribe okikwateko obeere nga tomissinga nsonga ezo njagala nkuwa ebigambo bya Ssenyonyi bwe yabadde ku mukutu ogwa NTV nga Patrick Kamara amubuuza ebimu ku bibuuzo yannyonnyodde ku nsonga za Mpuuga n'annyonnyola ku nsonga za Anita n'annyonnyola ku nsonga za Parliament sooka omuwulirize then nkomewo tubeere nga ate tubitemaatema
family clique and that kind of thing because like I've said if you're saying the family clique is the one asking you to step down okay that same family clique made you deputy president. Why didn't you complain at the time and say, no, this is a family clique, you can't appoint me deputy president, you can't appoint me LOP? I've rejected that. But again, let's not trivialize this issue, yeah? What I'm saying is, whatever concerns there can be, because they have not been raised in the past, to say there is an issue here of a family clique and that kind of thing, because we've held several meetings, whether as NEC, different, engagements together with him, and none of these issues have been raised. But he can still raise them, no problem. But in the meantime, can you first respond to these critical issues? Don't try and deflect. There's such a thing as deflecting, yeah? So you're being asked about money, and you're saying, family clique, intrigue. First respond to this issue, yeah? And again, you get to raise, you can at any point raise whichever other concerns, because like I'm saying, these concerns have never been raised by him. In all the discussions and engagements that we have had, why raise them now? But again, most importantly, I'm not denying his right to raise these issues, yeah, because all of us can have concerns within our families, within the entities we belong to, and that kind of thing, and that's okay, but don't use it as a scapegoat. Respond to the issues, the money issues that are being put to you.
So the money issues, Joel, there have been explosive allegations against the Speaker, against many people, commissioners, and the other day you're calling that Parliament should come back from recess. Generally, how do you respond to these allegations? You've just come into office and boom, this happens. And so Uganda and other leaders are looking upon people like you to see what kind of response you're going to take to bring back sanity and integrity in the house that Ugandans have a lot of hope in.
Patrick, the Constitution, Article 82A, provides for the office that I occupy, the functions thereof, including within our rules of procedure, Rule 14 thereof. My duty, together with the colleagues that I work with, is to keep the government in check. Now, government has got three arms: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And I'm saying this because I've had some people saying, Joel, your focus should be the executive and that kind of thing. Why are you hitting Parliament? You belong to it. Oh yes, I do belong to it. I should hold it to account as well. And that's why we are speaking out. That's why I'm speaking out myself. Because the same way I am holding Nabaabya over Mabati and other issues like Kibalama, it's the same way I want to hold the institution to which I belong accountable. When I'm holding the Ministry of Health accountable about Lubowa Hospital, in which we have injected over 600 billion shillings, and there's nothing to show for it, as I hold them accountable to that, I should hold my institution accountable as well, because it's all money from the consolidated fund, taxpayers' money. So there is heavy sounding issues that have been raised against Parliament, with specificity against the Speaker of Parliament. And what I have said is that, number one, let's not dismiss these issues because they're critical. Of course, I've had the spokesperson of Parliament respond a couple of times. Of course, each time he does respond, he confirms these different things, only to say, but you're exaggerating it, you're not bringing it in good faith, and that kind of thing. I'll break them down. Number one, per diem of the Speaker. Members of Parliament, leaders in Parliament do travel, and there's per diem for different, engagements out of the country and so on. But you see, when abuse of that happens, it becomes problematic, and I'll take you through a few things. Yeah, the Speaker traveled for 30 official leave days, and she was paid 499 million. 30 biannual holiday days, 494 million. She traveled to Kenya for 43 days. She was paid 653 million.
We're almost entering
Uganda shillings.
We're almost entering 2 billion now.
She traveled to Midrand, Johannesburg, South Africa for 20 days. She was paid 318 million. She traveled to Kenya for another 30 days, 487 million. And so on and so forth. There's Kigali, Rwanda, 106 million, 4 days, Italy, 98, and so on and so forth. This is problematic. Why? Not that the Speaker has no right to travel, not that she's not entitled to per diem, but what's the per diem of the Speaker? As we know it...
Let me ask Joel, who determines who gets what, the per diem of every member of Parliament, and including the Speaker? Is it herself determining, or there's a commission determining, or a committee of Parliament determining?
The commission is in charge of the institution and the finances, and it sets these figures. And so the figure that I'm talking about was set.
Not by the Right Honourable Anita, but by commission or committee of Parliament. But
now this was set by her, which is what we're saying is a problem. Because the figure that was set is $990 US. When you do make computations of this, it's about over $4,000 per day. How? When did that happen? And that's why we're asking these questions. In good faith, by the way. Some people think I don't like, when we were, asking Honorable Mpuuga to account, people were saying, you don't like him. So now I'm asking the Right Honorable Anita Mong to account. Is it that I don't like her too? Is it that I don't like the Clerk to Parliament, the accounting officer? When I say account as accounting officer and all these different people. Anyway, again, that's scapegoating, yeah? So we are saying this is problematic. But number two, the Speaker did not travel to a number of these places.
Okay.
And that's a fact, because for some of the places where she was meant to be, she was here chairing the House. How can you be here and in Nairobi at the same time? How can you be in Nairobi and in Italy at the same time? It doesn't make sense. The other issue also, for 146 calendar days, she was paid for 164 days. So you have bloated the money, you have bloated the days, but also this would mean, when you look at the days that they say she traveled, that she was away for about 5 months. That has never happened. Even when the Speaker did get twins, 2 weeks later, she was chairing Parliament, and we said, you should have taken more leave days. So there's a problem with all of that. So what this means is, even for when she did not travel, she claimed the money.
The first time we had this was the first time we got to know, as the public, was the Parliamentary exhibition. So have you gone back to really find out in the exact figures whether this is authentic?
These figures,
because it is possible somebody can go back and say, you know what, no, this was just talked about. Here's the actual, the $990, but here is the allegation.
These figures, Patrick, are of a government system called IFMIS. And that system is interesting. It captures all the money spent from the consolidated fund per entity. Let's take Parliament to be an entity. And the figures have not been denied. In fact, the spokesperson of Parliament, what he said is, you see, when the Speaker, for example, travels to the US, Serena there is $3,500 a night. So in other words, he was trying to justify this. He was not denying it.
Yes, ebyo bye bigambo bya Joel Ssenyonyi. Bibadde biwanvu naye mbadde nina okusalako olw'ensonga nti ebibadde eby'ensonga bibadde wali byowulidde. Parliament egenda kubanga etuula olunaku lwaleero nga bwe nakunnyonnyodde bulungi nnyo wano ku Red Zone TV, era ogenda kubanga omanya byonna ebigenda okubanga bivaayo, ensonga za ssente ez'omuwi w'omusolo esaasaanyizibwa. Jjukira Alex Waluso Mufumbiro nga ye deputy spokesperson w'ekibiina ekya NUP yavaayo n'annyonnyola omuwendo gwa ssente Anita Amongo Speaker wa Parliament zaakozesa buli lunaku n'azinnyonnyola ensi n'egamba kiki kino, era attention bagifunye nnyo ku social media, era oluvannyuma olwa pressure nene ne basalawo Parliament bagiyite bukubirire, ate nga ne leader of opposition Joel Ssenyonyi yavaayo n'ateeka. Ojjukira leader of opposition abaawulirizibwa yavaayo n'ayita olukiiko lwa bannamawulire nga bw'olaba ekifaananyi ekyo olujjukira nabikuwa bulungi nnyo wano twali ku live ku Red Zone TV, n'ayita olukiiko lwa bannamawulire n'abategeeza nti tukoowoola speaker mu bwangu obw'ekitalo ayite Parliament ekomewo, eve mu recess oba eve mu kuwummulako gikwerimu. Olunaku olwokutaano newankubadde tetera kutuula bakkiriza bayise Parliament olunaku olwaleero, ekibaluwa nakikusomeddemu olunaku lw'ejjo era nakikuteereddeyo ku mikutu gyaffe bw'obanga ogigoberera. Kakati olwaleero Parliament egenda kutuula mu ssaawa ezitali zeewala, ngenda kubanga nkuwa buli ekivaayo. ky'olina okukola kiri kimu, kwekumira ku mukutu guno obirenga byonna obimanya. Gwatanaba kubanga osubscribinga, nja kusaba okkirire wansi awo olaba ekigambo subscribe kikwateko, okwate ku kyako kade aka notification, genda mu comment section tuteremu obubaka tuberenga tutambula. Tugenda kuba tukuwa byonna ebivaayo. Red Zone TV kwoli tuwuliziganya ate mu ebyo byennyini bye ngenda okubanga nkuleetera.